I want to welcome everybody to our 2021 planning webinar, where we're going to be deep diving into transitioning from G Suite to Google Workspace. Today's discussion is going to be led by Natalie Willis. She's our account manager here at Wursta, and Rico, who is our relationship manager for Wursta as well. And a little bit about Wursta before we start. Wursta is a premier Google Cloud partner and collaboration design firm. It is our mission to help companies maximize the use of the cloud. A little agenda for today, just what we're going to go over. We're going to talk a little bit about why the rebrand happened, the different product offerings that Workspace now has, the steps that G Suite clients need to take to transition to Workspace and when that needs to happen. I'm going to kick it over to Rico to kind of talk through, what G Suite is and the transition to Workspace. Go ahead, Rico.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dave. Thank you for joining us today, everybody. Super excited for you to be here. I know it's a busy time of year, so we especially appreciate your time. Looks like we're slowly but surely going to have other folks jump in, so that's great. But yeah, to what Dave alluded to, there's some recent changes that we're super excited about. More importantly than what has changed, I think it's a good thing to take a step back and also look at the why. So we're all pretty familiar with the existing plans, what we're calling the legacy plans, quote unquote old plans, whether you're on G Suite Basic, G Suite Business, or G Suite Enterprise. Over the course of the past few years, a lot of customers gave Google the feedback of, hey, I'm on Basic or I'm on Business, but I would sure love data loss prevention, right? Or, hey, I'm on G Suite Enterprise, but the only reason that I'm paying this extra price is because I would love to record my meetings, right? So instead of going full a la carte, Google took that feedback to heart and said, well, why don't we introduce a few more options so that we have that flexibility for folks that want some features but don't necessarily want to make that big jump forward to the next tier, so to speak, right? So hopefully all of these three options sound familiar. We should be on one of the three. And moving forward to the next slide, here we are. Some of the changes really are a result of how unique 2020 has been for all of us. Work used to be a place that we went. We would literally make the commute, arrive at the office, get our coffee, and quote unquote work was that place where we went to conduct business. For the majority of us now, work is what we do. It is that thing we do instead of that place we go now. And Google also wanted to modernize the entire platform, saying, hey, we don't want you having to click into 6 or 7 different tabs or different windows. Let's try to consolidate all of that into this one view, which is, for the most of us, our Gmail or our email tab. We can now start a meeting out of that same tab, chat our colleagues, right? Obviously, open up a new document, collaborate on that, all out of that one view. So the mission really was, number one, let's make it simpler and easier for people to access the tools that they need for their day-to-day. And the other big reason why is Google had to accelerate a lot of the innovation that they had planned for 2021, 2022. When COVID hit, we said, you know what? Hey, Google engineers, let's roll this out now. We need some of these, features like you're seeing now. We can take a poll in the middle of our meeting. We can take attendance and track attendance in the middle of our meeting. We can record this for newly onboarded employees in the future and share that recording. If we were doing a training session, that's super helpful to be able to provide that recording in the future. More importantly, some other platforms used to let you see all of your team all in one, right? The little squares. Google also now has that same capability where we can see, I believe, up to 49 people at once. probably pretty small squares, but again, the engineers really rolled out the innovation at a rapid pace instead of waiting for the 2021, 2022 roadmap. So we'll continue to see feature updates. We will continue to see really nifty things roll out. And again, I'm just trying to encompass the why this all happened. So we can go ahead and move forward to the next slide. And we'll see some of those new options that we have. Again, we are coming from basic, business, and enterprise, listening to our customers' feedback, saying we would like a little bit more flexibility where we can have this feature but remain on our plan. Well, now we have a couple of different options, right? We can still stay on business starter, which is the old basic plan, or we now have business standard, business plus, a little more flexibility there. And the third tier, which was the enterprise tier, we can now select certain feature sets from the enterprise standard or the enterprise plus plan. And Natalie will go into a little bit more detail onto what each of those entails.
Thanks, Rico. Hey, everyone. Let's talk about Workspace business offerings. These are likely your best paths forward if you're currently on G Suite Basic or G Suite Business. Not that the enterprise offerings aren't an option, but let's do some deep diving into the Workspace business offerings, starting with Business Starter, which is list price $6 per user per month. And it is the most equivalent to G Suite Basic compared to the other options. So just as you don't have with G Suite Basic, you don't have shared drives or Google Vault. You do have video meetings with up to 100 participants, so pretty large Google Meets that you can have with the Business Starter plan. If you don't need advanced Meet features, you don't need more than 30 gigabytes of storage per user, and you don't need advanced security features, Business Starter may be a good path forward for you, especially if you're moving from G Suite Basic. It is pretty similar, but you do gain a few features. One of them is trusted domains. You can mark trusted domains that your end users can share externally with from Google Drive. So that's an added feature that you have with Business Starter that you don't have with G Suite Basic. And then moving to the middle column here for Google Workspace Business Standard. That's a brand new plan that's not necessarily comparable to any G Suite offering currently. It is a nice path forward if you're moving from basic or business and you want shared drives. So with business, you already have shared drives, but with basic, you don't. So you do gain shared drives if you're moving from basic to business standard. You don't have Google Vault, so that might be a blocker for those of you on G Suite Business. You know, you don't want to lose Google Vault for e-discovery and for legal purposes. So that might be an important key factor or something to keep in mind that could be a major impact to your company when you're deciding which path to take forward. Standard also does have some really groovy Meet features. So you have Meet moderation, Meet recording, Q&A, polls. No matter how hard they are to find, the polls are a feature in Google Workspace Standard. You'll have breakout rooms, so really nice Meet features, and you can meet with up to 150 participants. You do have 2 terabytes of storage space per user, so it's a heck of a lot of space for each person. You don't have a lot of advanced security features with the Business Standard, but that's where Business Plus comes in. So the very last column here, that is pretty similar to G Suite Business. However, it's not the direct equivalent. It is pricier than current G Suite Business list price, which is $12 per user per month. Business Plus is $18 per user per month for a good reason. You're gaining a lot of great features with Business Plus. You do have some of the same features that you have with G Suite Business, but you do have larger video meetings, so you can have up to 250 people within a Google Meet. You get translated captions, Meet transcripts, attendance tracking. You have 5 terabytes of storage per user. You also gain some really nice security features that aren't available in G Suite Business. So you would have Gmail DLP with some predefined content detectors available to use, so you can quickly set up data loss prevention rules. And you also have endpoint management features. You can manage iOS and Android and Windows devices. So a lot of nice features gained with Business Plus. Let's go ahead and transition to the next slides to talk about Enterprise.
Oh.
We didn't use our fancy animations.
I just realized that.
Tisk, tisk. Bear with us, we made it. Okay, welcome to Workspace Enterprise School. So Standard and Plus are 2 options on the Enterprise tier of the new Workspace options. So Plus is the easy one. It's the exact same thing as G Suite Enterprise. It was actually renamed. So if you're sitting here, thanks for hanging out with us for the webinar. You have the easiest path forward. Your G Suite Enterprise was already renamed to Workspace Enterprise Plus, and there won't be a price increase immediately. So you are safe and sound. You don't have to make a decision or a path forward. You know that your current G Suite edition has actually already been renamed to the highest tier, which is available in the Google Workspace plan offerings. You already are set up with that, and you have all of the same great features, and you will continue to gain a lot of great features. You have, with Enterprise Plus and with Workspace Enterprise Plus, we have Security Center, the investigation tool, some advanced options when it comes to managing your domain from a security perspective. You also have Meet live streaming for up to 100,000 users. With Standard, it's lacking in those areas. So you still have live stream for Google Meet, but you only can have 10K or 10,000. You still a lot of people, but you can have live streaming with a smaller amount of people than you can with Google Workspace Enterprise Plus. Also in Standard, you don't have the Security Center and you don't have the investigation tool. So those are pretty awesome features available with Plus that you wouldn't want to miss out on if you are more security conscious or in need of those advanced security features. So those are some major differentiators between Standard and Plus. And so some next steps, now that you know what options lie ahead, it's important to know when you need to make these decisions. So if you are currently on a flexible plan, so paying month to month, and you have the ability to reduce your licenses and add licenses at any time, you will need to make a decision on which workspace plan you want to move to by January 15th next year. It's right around the corner, within a month. And if you do need any assistance, we got your back. You can connect with us. You can email info@wursta.com and we will handhold you through this process if you do need a hand. Flexible plan clients are impacted in the more near term than annual plan clients. Perhaps. It depends when your renewal date is, but action will be required whenever you come up for renewal, whenever that may be. You can look into with a Google partner like Wursta. You can look into the options. We can deep dive with you, compare apples to apples and apples to oranges on your current plan and how it stands up against the other workspace options that you have as options to move to upon renewal. We also can work hand in hand with Google to see what kind of promotions are available that we can extend to you. So don't hesitate to reach out to us and connect with us. Enterprise clients, like I said in the last slide, you have it very easy. You have already been renamed to Workspace Enterprise Plus. Whether you noticed it or not, your G Suite Enterprise plan has been renamed. So you don't need to expect any changes on January 15th, nor at renewal time. You're already on the highest workspace plan.
Well, with that, we've kind of run through our presentation, and I'd like to open it up to Q&A to find out, do you guys have any specific questions about your organization or what this might mean for you guys? I know, one thing that we've gotten a little bit about is that the 2 terabyte limits on the business plan and stuff like that, and some of that shared data, and how, I wanted to call that one out, that it's not necessarily a hard limit. If you have some users that might be heavy users, in your media department or something like that, they can definitely share that data a little bit. But could you guys talk to that a little? Rico or Natalie? I think you cut out, Rico. We're having some audio issues.
Can you hear me now? There we go.
Yep. There you are.
No, I think to your point, a lot of folks are, for example, especially if you have some high capacity users, and for a fact, hey, I know I have a handful of folks that use 30 terabytes, right? Does that automatically default me to the next tier? It does not if you do have users that only use a couple gigs, right? So, or as David said, it is a pooled amount. So if you do have, 100 users total, 5 terabytes times that 100, you do have 500 terabytes. So it will allow you to easily accommodate those folks that have 30 terabytes, as long as you do have some low usage people as well. So that is a common question we get. It is a total pool of everyone's memory. And once we do have folks all start using that amount, then we would definitely look to the next tier, where hopefully we get to the unlimited realm, where we don't have to look at storage ever, right? And that does come with either of the enterprise options.
And there's also some options I know around Drive and stuff like that we can help out with to reduce that need. Any other questions though from the audience? We are happy to answer anything. Well, if we don't have extra questions,
So no, not so much a question, but I did want to point out, in case any of you did happen to catch the restrictions, or right, hey, memory is no longer, or storage is no longer unlimited. If you were on on the G Suite Business, we now have that 2 terabyte, 5 terabyte cap. I'm hoping you caught that we can now only have up to 300 users as well. We do have some folks that historically have been okay with the basic package or the business package, but they have 600, 700 employees. This is also Google's way of saying, hey, you deserve better. We want you to have a better tool set, and we know that once you try a lot of these features, more than likely it'll invigorate your company. It'll be a richer experience. Some of these features you've never even heard of or played with will benefit you in a great way. So we're going to force you to to the enterprise tier, right? So if you do have over 300 employees, you might be right at that cusp, right? Where, hey, we only have 290 this year, but in the coming years, sounds like we'll be over that limit. Definitely start looking at that next tier of Enterprise Standard or Enterprise Plus. And it kind of transitions perfectly into why Wursta, right? Don't be scared off by that list price. Even though Enterprise Standard does start at $20 per user per month, or the highest tier, $30 per user per month, we, thankfully, as a Google partner, will never have to pay list price. That's a benefit of the fact that we've been working with Google going on a decade. And as their premier partner, we have access to special pricing, special promotions, and we can lock those in to get you a much more attractive rate than that $20 for Enterprise Standard. Right now, more than likely, if you're on a flexible plan, or if you're right at that limit where you're about to reach 300 users, in some cases, it's almost no difference at all from what you were paying to make the jump. So one of the key benefits of working with Wursta is, number one, you'll always be in the know. You will always get things communicated to you on a proactive basis. We'll be reaching out to you through our account management team, which is where Natalie is, and one of our other colleagues. They're always communicative. They're always reaching out to you, at least every other month, letting you know, hey, this just rolled out. Are you taking advantage of blurred backgrounds, or the fact that we can now change our background? Are you leveraging the noise cancellation feature that you probably didn't even know you have now? And just really communicating those things that are on the roadmap, because like I said, Google's updating this thing nonstop. And a lot of customers don't read those emails saying there's a new feature for you. So Natalie and our account management team do a really good job of making sure you're always in the know. And also, when we have a massive revamp like we're having now, folks with Wursta knew about it with a little bit of lead time, so that we can be proactive, decide, hey, you know what, let's lock in a promotional rate for 3 years rather than waiting until April 2021 when our renewal is up, because then we're probably going to be forced to list price if we do nothing, right? So really, really good time to work with a partner like Wursta. Not only the promotional rate that I talked about, but we also get to know your business. Since we are a full Google, one-stop shop, you might be leveraging Google Cloud or other initiatives with Chrome or Chrome management licenses. You don't have to work with those 3 or 4 different teams within Google. We are your one source of truth, your one point of contact. And our account managers do a great job of getting to know what your business does, how to make you successful, and how we can use all of these different tools within Google to really take it to the next level. So that piece of innovation really comes into play there, where we can be partners for the future and not just for the now. And then the last part, we're always more flexible than Google. So if there's something in their terms of service or something like, hey, you know what, I would prefer to pay on a quarterly basis, or be invoiced in this way, or can we look at this part of the terms of service? We have a lot more flexibility there than Google does, and a lot more resources than Google does. So instead of filing a support ticket, you might want one of our engineers to jump on the phone, screen share with you, walk you through how to roll out DLP. I want to write a custom rule so that my users can't share bank information and routing numbers. How do I do that? Well, we got you covered. We can help you implement that new feature. So all encompassing, what I guess I should summarize it as is, I like to say we're the instruction manual that should come with your Google plan. And this all comes for free, right? We charge you exactly what you would pay direct with Google, only you get another layer of support through Wursta. So Natalie, anything that I may have missed, fill in the gaps, please keep me honest there.
No, I think everything, nailed it, covered it all.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you everybody for attending today. This is being recorded, so we'll shoot that out to you guys afterwards if you want to review that, post-webinar here. But here's our contact info at Wursta. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
great.
Have a good day.
Info. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.